I think it was probably around 11 or 12, the first time I ever had my first drink. We had a lot of family gatherings. Everybody was drinking beer. There was coolers everywhere. Kids were getting it free will, and nobody would stop them. I was raised by a single mother with my older sister and younger brother. My mom worked a lot. It was my aunt who told me one time after my sister was born and then they found out my mom was pregnant with me, that's when it really kind of became chaotic. My father kicked my mom in the stomach and said, "I don't want this child." And he, I guess, took it upon himself to, try to stop the pregnancy. It put a lot of resentment in me that I kind of buried down in my heart. I felt like, now I can show you that, I'm worth being alive. Baseball was like always my passion. I mean, that was my life. It kept me out of trouble. It gave me purpose and just that continued to drive me, and I'd spend hours just practicing. So it was my senior year of high school, and it was a game that my mom drove down to watch me play. That was the one time my mom seen me play baseball. It started out very poorly, and it just kind of slowly, went downhill from there, and we ended up losing the game. I just remember crying on the way home, and I was just so sad and ashamed that I couldn't even ride with my mom. I felt like I let her down, like she drove all that way. And all I did was just disappoint her. I think after that is when kind of my instability and chaos just started really taking a hold. Not only on the weekends, but during the week. I started to use alcohol as a way to escape kind of the pain and feeling of failing. Eventually it came to the point that it was so extreme, and I woke up one morning and my hand it started shaking. It scared me. I said, "God, if you're real, you're gonna take me where you want me." And he did. He brought somebody across my path, and they invited me to church, and I said, okay. It was March 27th, 2007. That was the day I gave my life to the Lord. I was just sitting there, and I had that overwhelming feeling that I have to go up. And I fell to my knees, and I was bawling like a sobbing baby. And, from that moment, I knew God was 100% real in my life. I stepped away and I stopped praying. I stopped really just kind of involving myself in ministry. So I stepped away from the Lord. I ended up getting married and shortly thereafter joined the military. And during that process, it pulled me away from the relationship that I had and ended up getting a divorce. I fell back into drinking again.
And then he met me. And really on the flip side, I guess I met him too.
Yes.
And I was not really attending church regularly. I definitely was not making choices that were godly. It was almost like something in my spirit responded to something in your spirit.
Once we started talking, one of the first conversations that we had was about going to church and believing in God and praying. And at that point, I had not been walking with the Lord. I hadn't been going to church, but again, I knew that I wanted to.
Like we just started praying together, and I think there was something that happened inside of both of us where once we experienced a little bit, like the hunger just continued to grow, and we just really wanted more of God in a way that I had never experienced before.
Yeah, it was a wonderful feeling again, with coming to connect and just meeting all the people here and just how encouraging it is. It just felt like home. God reminds me of who he created me to be. Like how much he loves me, how much he cares for me. Like I was made for so much more than a bottle, because you don't heal when you drowned it out. You heal by his grace. He willfully chose to take that burden and carry it up a long road for everything that I've been through, for that forgiveness, to forgive myself, to forgive others, and hopefully that other people can forgive me for the wrong that I've done. But then it finally gets to that point where that sacrifice is made and he says it's finished, and that's the most amazing redemption story ever, and we're why he did it.
It really makes you feel loved. It really makes you feel like God truly does care about you. I think it just speaks to God's grace, and it's really exciting to just be a part of what God is doing.
Amen.